Hello, my beautiful friend. If you are a woman in your 60s or beyond, this message is for you. You have lived through decades of change, love, heartache, sacrifice, and survival. You have raised families, held careers, buried dreams, and perhaps even lost yourself in the process. And now, in this chapter of life, maybe you are wondering, what comes next? Is it too late to rediscover joy? Am I still allowed to want more? Do I even matter anymore? Let me tell you something that may surprise you. You are not done. You are not invisible. And you are absolutely not too old to become a powerful, radiant, deeply valued woman. In fact, now is the perfect time. Because with age comes clarity, with experience comes wisdom, and with freedom comes the chance to finally come home to yourself. In this video, I am going to walk you through 5 clear and powerful steps to becoming a high-value woman after the age of 60, not in the eyes of the world, not by someone else's standards, but in the quiet, sacred truth of your own soul. This is not about pretending to be younger. It is about becoming wiser. It is about reclaiming the parts of you that were silenced, overlooked, or simply forgotten along the way. So, take a deep breath. Make yourself comfortable. This journey is for you, and it begins right now. Step 1. Release the roles. You have spent most of your life becoming something for someone else. A daughter, a wife, a mother, a worker, a caretaker, a reliable friend, a dependable sister, a volunteer, a grandmother. You showed up, you gave, you did what was expected, and more. You became the one who could be counted on, the one who always held it together, the one who didn't complain. And somewhere along the way, you may have forgotten something. You are not just the roles you've played. You're a whole person underneath them, and you always have been. But here's the hard truth. The world often teaches women to disappear behind their roles. Especially after 60, you're expected to be content with what you have already done, to quiet your needs, to sit down, smile politely, and let the younger generations take the spotlight. But if you feel even a small ache inside, a whisper that says, "I want more," then this step is for you. Releasing the roles does not mean forgetting your past or abandoning those you love. It means taking off the old masks that no longer fit. It means recognizing that you are allowed to live for yourself now, not out of guilt, but out of truth. So ask yourself gently, who am I when no one needs anything from me? When no one is asking me to cook, or fix, or organize, or solve? What do I want? Not as a mother, not as a partner, not as a caregiver, but as a woman, as a human being, as me. That question may feel unfamiliar. It may feel uncomfortable, because many women over 60 have never been asked that. They have always been defined by what they do for others. But now, your soul is asking for something different. Not more responsibility, not more noise. Just a return to yourself. Let go of the guilt that says you're selfish for thinking of your own joy. Let go of the belief that your value depends on being useful to others. And let go of the idea that you have to keep proving your worth. You have already proven enough. You have raised the babies. You have buried the parents. You have sat through pain and celebrated joy and made it through decades of life no one else could understand. Now it's time to lay down what no longer belongs to you. Step out of the costume. Remove the title. Just be. Even if you don't know who that woman is yet, begin by making space for her to return. Because the high-value woman after 60 is not someone who does more. She is someone who finally becomes more of who she really is. This is your time. This is your sacred return. And it begins with letting go of everything that told you who you were supposed to be. Step 2. Rewrite the story. There comes a moment, usually somewhere around midlife, or just after 60, when a quiet voice inside begins to ask, "Is this it? Is this all I'm allowed to have now? Did I miss my chance?" It is in that moment that the most important work begins, because for many women, the story they've been living wasn't really theirs. It was inherited. It came from what their mothers were told, what their churches preached, what the magazines printed, what husbands expected, what children demanded, and what the world, politely but firmly, reinforced again and again. The story sounded something like this: be good, be quiet, be useful, don't ask for too much, age gracefully, which really means become invisible. Be proud of what you've done, but don't expect more. Your job is done. Your purpose is behind you. Just stay comfortable and wait. Wait for what? The second step to becoming a high-value woman after 60 is this. You must rewrite that story completely. You must take the pen back into your own hands and become the author of the years ahead. No one is coming to do this for you. But that's the beauty of it. This chapter gets to be entirely yours. Let's be honest. So many women carry silent grief about how their lives turned out. Maybe the marriage wasn't what you hoped. Maybe you gave too much and received too little. Maybe your body doesn't feel like it once did. Maybe your dreams had to wait, and wait, and wait. Until one day, you stopped reaching for them altogether. But here's what I want to say to you. That story, the one you tell yourself about what's no longer possible, is just a story. It is not the truth. It is not permanent. It is not your fate. It is simply the version of the past that you've repeated so often. It started to feel real. And now, it's time to change the narrative, because the most magnetic, empowered, radiant women in their 60s, 70s, and beyond are not the ones who deny their age. They're the ones who redefine it. They're the ones who wake up one day and say, "I don't care what society says. I am still alive. I am still here. I am not done." They are the women who stop apologizing for wanting more. More joy, more purpose, more intimacy, more growth, more laughter, more peace. And let me tell you this, those things are not luxuries. They are your birthright. You don't have to rewrite your entire life. You just need to rewrite the meaning. Instead of, "I wasted too much time," try, "I am choosing to honor the time I have now." Instead of, "It's too late for me," say, "It's never too late for the truth." Instead of, "I should have done things differently," say, "I did the best I could, and I'm still becoming." A high-value woman after 60 does not live in the past. She mines it for wisdom. She uses it as her foundation, not her prison. She walks forward, not because everything behind her was perfect, but because she finally understands she's allowed to choose her future. This is not a fantasy. This is not self-help fluff. This is soul work. And it matters more now than ever. Because at this age, you know too much to keep living a small life. You have earned your freedom. You have earned your right to say, "This is who I am now, and I don't need anyone else's permission to live fully." So today, I invite you to take one simple step. Write down the story you've been told, then write the one you're ready to live. Because the high-value woman does not cling to a script that keeps her small. She writes her truth, in her own voice, with grace, power, and a pen that only she controls. Step 3. Reconnect with your desire. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt deep, glowing desire? Not just for someone else, but for life itself? Not duty, not routine, not habit, but desire. That spark, that "I want this just because it makes me feel alive" kind of desire. If it's been a long time, you are not alone. Many women over 60 have been so busy surviving, caregiving, sacrificing, and showing up for everyone else that their own desires have gone quiet. Not gone, just quiet. Desire gets tucked away into little corners of the soul. It waits, it whispers, and if it is ignored long enough, it becomes something we're even afraid to name. But here is the truth. You are still allowed to want. You are still allowed to crave beauty, intimacy, freedom, adventure, rest, creativity, or all of the above. Desire doesn't expire with age. It evolves. It becomes richer, deeper, more meaningful. But to feel it again, you have to give yourself permission. Permission to feel, permission to explore, permission to say, "What do I want now?" You see, for decades, your wants were often wrapped up in someone else's needs. You wanted peace, but your household was chaotic. You wanted rest, but there were always things to clean, fix, handle. You wanted romance, but you learned to settle for silence. You wanted adventure, but it never felt like the right time, so you buried those wants, and you got good at functioning without them. But here's the thing about desire. It's not selfish. It's not silly. It's not shameful. It's sacred. Desire is the soul's way of reminding you that you are still very much alive. It is your spirit reaching towards something that matters. And here's something else no one tells you, especially not women in their 60s and 70s. You are allowed to change what you want. Maybe the things that once satisfied you no longer do. Maybe what you desire today looks nothing like what you thought you'd want at this age. That's okay. In fact, that's beautiful. Because it means you are paying attention to who you're becoming, not just who you've been. So let me ask you again. What do you want now? Is it time alone? Is it new friendship? Is it to paint again? To travel? To write the book? To dance? To fall in love again? Or maybe for the first time? Is it to feel beautiful in your own body without needing to explain why? Whatever it is, you don't have to justify it. You don't have to defend it. You don't even have to tell anyone else. You just have to let yourself feel it, to honor it, to breathe life into it again. Because high-value women don't suppress their desire to make others comfortable. They lean into it. They express it. They follow it. Not with recklessness, but with reverence. And that's the real magic of aging. You get to want what you want and not apologize for it. So today, I invite you to begin gently. Write a list of things that still bring you joy. Let it be messy. Let it be playful. Let it be yours. You've done enough for others. Now it's time to do something just because you want to. Reconnect with your desire, because that's where your vitality lives. And you, my friend, are still very much alive. Step 4. Set the sacred boundary. By the time a woman reaches 60, she has already said yes more times than she can count. Yes to the family. Yes to the overtime. Yes to the favor, the request, the extra load. Yes, even when she wanted to say no, because that's what good women do, right? We say yes. We stay quiet. We keep the peace. We show up. Even when it's too much. Even when we're tired. Even when something inside us whispers, this doesn't feel right anymore. But let me ask you something. And I ask with love. At what cost? How many times have you betrayed your own body's signals, your aching back, your heavy heart, your drained energy? How many times have you stayed quiet to avoid rocking the boat, even as you were drowning? Setting boundaries is not something most women were taught, especially not those of us raised to believe that being needed was the same as being loved. We were taught to serve, to sacrifice, to make ourselves small. But you are not here, in this chapter of life, to stay small. You are here to take up your rightful space. That begins with boundaries, and not just practical ones, but sacred ones. A sacred boundary is not just about saying no. It's about knowing that your time, your energy, your peace, your body, and your heart are not free for anyone to take. You get to choose. You get to protect your space. You get to walk away from conversations that drain you. You get to take a nap instead of answering the phone. You get to decline invitations without guilt. You get to stop explaining yourself because you no longer owe anyone your exhaustion. Let me say that again. You no longer owe anyone your exhaustion. A high-value woman after 60 is not defined by how much she gives. She is defined by how clearly she honors her limits and how gracefully she communicates them. Now, that does not mean becoming hard or unkind. Boundaries are not walls. They are gates. And you, dear one, are the gatekeeper. You decide who gets your presence. You decide what kind of energy you allow into your space. You decide what you are no longer available for. And I know it may feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you've spent a lifetime saying yes when you meant no. You might feel selfish. You might feel afraid of being misunderstood. You might feel guilty the first few times. But I promise you, peace is on the other side of that temporary discomfort. You do not need permission to protect yourself. You're allowed to disappoint others in order to honor your truth. You're allowed to be misunderstood in service of your health and happiness. You're allowed to place your hand over your heart and say, "This matters. I matter." Because you do. This step is not about pushing people away. It's about finally making room for the real you to breathe. The woman who honors herself. The woman who says yes to what feels right and no to what no longer serves her. The woman who walks in her home, her body, and her relationships with clear, compassionate boundaries. And let me tell you, nothing is more magnetic than a woman who respects herself this deeply. So today, I invite you to ask yourself, where do I need a boundary? What have I been tolerating that drains me? What am I no longer willing to carry? Then take one small step. Say no. Step back. Speak up. Protect your peace. You've spent your life being available for everyone. Now it's time to be available for yourself. Step 5. Radiate without apology. There is something extraordinary about a woman who knows who she is and no longer asks permission to be her. She doesn't hide. She doesn't shrink. She doesn't try to fit into a version of herself that made everyone else comfortable but left her feeling small. She radiates. Not because she's trying to impress, not because she's wearing the right makeup or saying all the right things, not because she's loud or flashy. She radiates because she is free. Free from guilt. Free from the need to prove herself. Free from the exhausting chase of validation. And that, my friend, is the final step to becoming a high-value woman after 60. Let yourself shine, without apology. You see, most of us were taught that radiance belonged to youth, that after a certain age, women should fade quietly into the background, that we should be proud of our past, but never too visible in the present. But radiance isn't about youth. It's about energy. It's about presence. It's about joy. The kind that rises from within when you stop performing and start simply being. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to be thin or wrinkle-free or agreeable or endlessly available. You just have to be you, fully, honestly, unapologetically. The high-value woman after 60 is not chasing attention. She's attracting energy because she's finally living from her center. She wears what makes her feel alive. She says what she means. She laughs from the belly. She walks into a room and does not ask for permission to belong. She's not the loudest, but people turn when she speaks. She's not trying to be liked, but she is deeply loved because her presence is real. And here's the thing. You don't become this woman by accident. You become her by choosing, every day, to stop apologizing for being too much or not enough. You let go of the script that told you to stay in your lane, and you step into your truth, fully expressed, with softness and power in equal measure. So let me ask you, what part of yourself have you been hiding? Your voice? Your creativity? Your sensuality? Your leadership? Your joy? Bring it back. Let the world feel you. Let them experience the fullness of your wisdom, your humor, your grace, your boldness. You've been quiet for too long. You've played by the rules long enough. Now is your time to radiate, not to prove anything, but because light is your natural state. You were not born to fade. You were born to shine, even more brightly with every passing year. So let them feel your warmth. Let them be moved by your energy. Let them say, she's magnetic, she's powerful, she's free. Because that's exactly what you are, a high-value woman, not defined by age, but by the light she allows herself to live in. So, go ahead, speak up, dress up, laugh loud, take the photo, wear the lipstick, say the truth, take up space, and whatever you do it without apology. Practical wisdom. How to keep becoming her. Becoming a high-value woman after 60 is not about a single transformation. It is about choosing, again and again, to live in alignment with your truth. It is a way of being that is built through small, intentional moments. Now that you've learned the 5 steps, the real work is living them out, not as pressure or performance, but as daily acts of self-respect. It starts with protecting your energy. Not every request deserves your time. Not every person deserves access to your peace. You've spent enough of your life overextending. Now is the time to be deliberate with where your attention goes. Your time is sacred now. Treat it that way. Next, pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Many women carry an inner voice that is harsh, critical, or dismissive. But you are no longer that girl trying to earn her worth. You're a woman who has lived, loved, lost, and survived. Speak to yourself with the same softness and reverence you would offer a dear friend. You deserve that compassion every single day. Find joy in the ordinary. You don't have to wait for a special occasion to feel alive. Light a candle in the morning. Dress in something that makes you feel beautiful, even if no one sees you. Put on music you love. Dance in the kitchen. Pleasure is not something you need to earn. It is part of your wholeness. Give yourself permission to enjoy life, not just endure it. Also, keep growing. You are never too old to begin again. You can try new hobbies, form new friendships, ask new questions, or change your mind about who you are. Growth does not end with age. In fact, it deepens. The most magnetic women are those who stay curious, who don't shut down just because the world told them they should. Surround yourself with people who reflect your worth back to you. Let go of relationships that drain you or make you feel small. Choose company that feels like sunlight, warm, honest, and nourishing. Protecting your emotional space is not selfish. It is necessary. And most of all, do not wait. Do not wait to feel more ready. Do not wait for others to understand. Do not wait until you lose the weight, until the house is clean. Until everything feels easier. Begin now. Begin imperfectly, quietly, gently, but begin. High value is not a label. It is a lifestyle, a steady, daily returning to your own essence. You become that woman, not by force, but by care. Not by hustle, but by presence. You already carry the wisdom. You already carry the light. Now is the time to live it, boldly, every single day. So here you are. You've walked through each of the 5 steps, not just in theory, but with your heart open. And maybe something inside you shifted. Maybe a forgotten part of you stirred, lifted its head, and whispered, "Yes, that's me." If so, I want you to know, you are not alone, and you are not behind. There is no deadline for becoming the woman you were always meant to be. You're not too late. In fact, you're right on time. This chapter of life, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, is not the closing act. It's the awakening. It's where you get to live not for approval, but for truth. Not for others' comfort, but for your own joy. Becoming a high-value woman after 60 doesn't mean reinventing yourself from scratch. It means returning, slowly, bravely, to the version of you that was never fully allowed to exist. The one who speaks honestly, the one who moves with purpose, the one who no longer waits for permission. You don't need to be younger. You don't need to be busier. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real and present. Because your presence, your wisdom, your voice, your softness, your strength is a gift. Not only to yourself, but to the people lucky enough to be in your life. Let this be the season where you stop chasing and start radiating. Let it be the season where you stop pleasing and start receiving. Let it be the season you finally say, "This is who I am, and that is enough." And if you're wondering where to go from here, I invite you to keep this momentum alive. Revisit these steps when you feel lost. Journal about them. Talk about them with a friend. Share this video with someone you love. And if it touched something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe to this channel for more soulful guidance and gentle strength. Leave a comment. Let me know which step spoke to you the most. I read every word. This is not just a video. This is a community. And you, dear one, are part of it. You are seen. You are still becoming. And you are already more than enough. Keep going. Keep rising. You are her.